Right, hello everyone. Today I'm gonna give you my overall honest opinion on my Grundig 9 kg 1400 RPM spin GR 7700 GW 78941FW washer with FIBERCatcher technology HomeWhiz, and it also has a recycled PET drum, which I'll talk about in a few minutes. So I've only had this machine for 4 days, so this is quite an early review, but I need to do it now because of the fact that this machine will actually be going back to Curry's tomorrow. So let's talk about the drum first. So you've got a 9 kg drum, really quite big, although it is considerably smaller from what I know from other machines that are 9 kg, as they have changed the size of their 9 kg drums for some reason. So they aren't as deep from the front to the back of the drum anymore, but they are lower down, it has a bigger circumference, guess you could say. So they have changed the pattern on this compared to the old Grundigs. So it doesn't have as many holes, and it doesn't have as many of these wee diamond shapes. So it doesn't, I don't know why they decided to change this, but they did. But I do quite like this new drum design. This washer also has a feature called WaterCare. So you may have noticed as I was turning the drum round that you have this blue paddle that's different to the other two paddles. So basically in this paddle there is a sensor in it, and sometimes during the wash it will use that sensor to slowly turn around, and then it will position the paddle at the very top of the drum, and on the top of the drum use this it's got a jet system, so it has a hose leading up to the top of the drum, and it will spray water from this paddle through to the close, onto the close, from the top of the drum down to the bottom. This is theoretically said by Grundig to reduce drum movements and can get the clothes cleaner, can get them clean faster than a normal washer that doesn't have this jet. So if I do turn it on, you all notice the likes of cottons on this machine is only an hour and 20 minutes. On typical machines, a cotton wash, well, compared to the normal ones that don't have this, a cotton wash on them is about 2 hours 18, I think, or something like that. Whereas on this, it's an hour and 22. So it is considerably shorter, but does give the same results. So back to the drum anyway. So they have changed this door seal on it, and it's much thicker. So it is compared to the previous door seal that they used, and it also doesn't really leave water in the wee gap here, unlike my previous beko WTG did. Now this machine, you may notice I might mention beko a lot. Grundig is a sister brand of beko. So these beko and Grundig are basically the same company. So you will hear me refer this quite a bit to beko. So they have decided to change this seal, so it is much thicker and it is harder to actually peel away from the drum, but they've positioned it specifically here. It's too close to the drum. So on the first wash that I did, it spun quite out of balance and still spun to 1400 RPM. Because of it being so close and the drum, the door seal being so close to the drum and being unbalanced, the drum actually rubbed against the seal and burnt away at it, partially. So you might have noticed here, you'll see that line of rubber on the actual drum. That is from where it was rubbing during the spin. So it did, whenever it was spinning, it managed to fill with smoke from the burnt rubber during spin, but I didn't actually notice it until I looked back at the video and could see the drum filling up with smoke as it ramped up. So not exactly great, and that did happen on the first day. So let's talk about something here. You have a Drumlight. On this machine, I have problems with this. The Drumlight doesn't work. This broke on the second day of me owning it. So like, whenever I had it, it wasn't even 24 hours old. So it arrived on the Wednesday, and this broke on the first day. I presume, especially from a few of my friends' suggestions, that this bulb has actually been water damaged. They haven't sealed it properly on this machine, I don't think. And whenever I was doing the machine care, whenever I first got this machine, the suds level got really high and had gathered around here. And for some reason on the machine care, this bulb turned on whenever it wasn't meant to. And now, as you see, it doesn't work at all. Although you may notice after a few minutes time, it might start to slowly turn on. But it's really weird, so it is. So that doesn't work, which is completely awful for a day-old machine. So you've got a nice tinted door, although because of it being black, you can see a lot of dust and all on it, and there are a few scratches on this door as well, as you can see here and there as well. But it is a really nice door, so it is. So if I come to the drawer, you've got 3 compartments in it. You've got pre-wash, your main wash, and your softener. On the main wash, they have like this liquid apparatus thing, so you stick it down if you're going to use liquid, and you flick it up like that if you're going to use powder. And they've also got this wee like turbine thing, so whenever it's filling up through this compartment, if you've got powder, well, it doesn't really matter. As long as this is up, the water will actually spray onto this as it's filling up, and that will turn around, which means that if there's any clumps of washing powder, it breaks them down and sends it into the machine. So it means that whenever the cycle's finished, you won't have clumps of washing powder on this compartment. So what I want to show you here, this siphon is very bad quality. On day 2, I accidentally pushed this down and managed to actually break the wee clip here. So that is broke on it. But if I pull this out, you do have, it has got water on it, oh my god. This is like a wee bit of a nightmare. But if I pull this out, and I'm just going to pour this water into the sink, as it leaves water on top of that for some reason. It could be, oops, that's not meant to happen. Oops. So you may have noticed this is just fell out. This is a FIBERCatcher filter, which is why it says FIBERCatcher on the front. So this just sits in there, in the drawer, and whenever you use a synthetic wash, so like synthetics, it also works on sports and shirts. You may notice there's this symbol on the display, right here. So what it is it has this recirculation thing at the back of the drawer. As you can see, there's a wee hole right there, as you can see. So what it does is it's meant to circulate the water before it drains from the main wash back into the drawer and into this through this filter, and then it leaks out the bottom of it, so that any microplastics from synthetic garments are actually trapped in here, and it doesn't go down the drain and into the seas or rivers or wherever the water goes once it's drained. So on this machine, the synthetic programs are extremely weird. And I'm actually just going to stick this drawer in. It is really, really awkward to stick this drawer in compared to a normal washer, as you might see, although today it's actually easy to get in, thankfully. But normally it can be a wee bit awkward just position it right because of the FIBERCatcher at the back. So anyway, so synthetics is really weird. So before we get into anything, you cannot use washing powder on synthetics. If you use washing powder and it actually does the FIBERCatcher process, it can block up that small pipe in the back of the drawer and then break it. So they do advise in the manual, do not use washing powder whenever you're using a synthetic, sport or shirt wash. Any other wash, it's fine. as long as this symbol isn't up. So what it does at the start is, so this advises you to only use liquid or pods. I'm going to get into the topic about pods in a minute because something really disappoints me about this. So it does this load sensing thing at the very start of the wash. And what it will do is it will fill up with water and it will turn the drum clockwise for a period of time until the water reaches a set level. Then after it's reached that set level, it will stop and it will drain out of that water. That means that if you've got your detergent in the drum, it is wasted and drained out, and it'll be washing the clothes in no detergent whatsoever. Massive downfall and just idiotic programming, if I've got to be honest. So that means the only way to add your detergent is into the drawer. But because of these things being a liquid apparatus thing, whenever you pour in liquid, it does hold it back for a period of time, but it will start to leak into the machine. So as it's doing that FIBERCatcher, the load sensing thing that it does on synthetic washes, your liquid will leak into the machine while it's doing that and will be wasted. Either way, whatever you do, it will be wasted, which is really stupid programming. So that means that you have to add your detergent after it's done that sensing thing. So you have to wait about 5 minutes, and if you're using pods, once it's drained out the water and starts filling up, you have to pause the machine, open the door and stick your detergent in. Or if you're using liquid, you have to pour it into the drawer once it starts filling in here, just so that it's not wasted. So really stupid, but even stupider, that load sensing phase determines whether it uses FIBERCatcher or not. So if it detects that it's got an absorbent load in it, it won't do FIBERCatcher phase because it thinks that there's like cottons in it, really absorbent cottons. So it'll think that it's not best not to do it, so that's not catching like bits of cotton in it. So it cancels it out. Because if you have low water pressure like myself, this means that this feature will not work at all. It will never work. So it's just a waste of money, which is ungodly awful. So I talked about Drumlight issues. I talked about the shredded seal issue. So this, like I said, this drum's made out of, it's recycled. These drums are made from approximately 60 plastic bottles. Now, not obviously this metal part, but underneath that there's a big plastic part, and that plastic's made out of 60 recycled water bottles that are collected from the seas, apparently. So it has that, and you may have noticed here you've got a button called remote control. So to use that, you have to go download the program and press remote control. It will lock the door and you'll see this symbol on the display. If you have that turned on, I'll turn it back on. So you will notice the display, you can't control it on the display, so you have to do it for your phone. After 2 days, I had an issue with it. The machine doesn't connect to the app anymore. Because you will notice this Bluetooth light is flashing now. After its set period of time, for some odd reason, it disables Bluetooth and turns it off. So it means that the app won't connect to the machine. So it means that now the remote control, which was one of the main reasons why I got this machine, doesn't work. It's absolutely awful, so it is. So yeah, I've got a good selection of programs, but now I need to talk about my final issue. The machine's PCBs. This machine's PCBs are awful. Long story short, they are awful. This machine is 4 days. Well, I bought it on Wednesday and it's now Saturday. So it's 4 days old, isn't it? Yeah, it's 4 days old and it's already nearly broke. This machine glitches like hell. like, the more times I've used it, the worse the glitching has got. On the final wash that I done, which was mini wash, I used it on 40, 1400, and I used extra rinse and 2 times express. So on that, the machine glitched, so it did, and like the drum wouldn't turn for almost a minute, and then it clicked, and the drum like literally spazzed out. Not even joking, it literally like spazzed out, like it kept on flickering on, off, on, off, on, off, on, off. And the machine wouldn't turn until it eventually somehow reset itself. So the glitching is getting way worse on this machine, especially for the fact that it's 4 days old, which is awful. I should probably talk about the options, to be honest. So you can change your temperature all the way up to 90 degrees on some of the washes. Mini is a very good program as it does allow all temperatures and all spin speeds, should I say, which is extremely good. You have got an anti-crease option on this machine, which will leave your clothes tumbling for up to 8 hours after the machine's done. Sorry. After the machine's done, and it'll display 000 whenever it's doing that, but it will still have the door locked, so you need to press this button and to get it to unlock once it's finished. You've also got pre-wash option, as I described in the dry. If you use that, you have to use washing powder and use it in stick washing powder in that compartment and that compartment as well. So you've got that. You've got a handy steam option. This basically heats up water in the bottom of the tub, but it's not actually in like the actual drum, it's just covering the heater, and this will send steam up into the machine and will steam your garments, removing wrinkles and killing allergens. It's also got a Supreme refresh cycle, which uses steam to refresh garments and remove wrinkles. This is handy for garments that have only been worn like once and don't need a wash but just need refreshing, which is good. And you've also got express, so you can shorten down the time a little bit, and then you can press again, which will shorten it down even more. So all of these issues that I've been having with it in 4 days is appalling, to say the least. The fact that so many things have went wrong with it, I'm really not happy about. Honestly, this could be just a bad batch model. Maybe not all of these machines are like this. Actually, I'd definitely think that not all of them are like this, but it's appalling. Long story short, the fact that it's just had so many issues in such a short length of time, we're really not happy about, and it is getting exchanged for a new machine tomorrow. These machines' quality has gone down so much in a period of it's been 10 years since I got one of my first bekos, and then it was 3 years since I've got this one behind me, which I replaced because of it jumping and puking quite a lot. But I'd rather deal with the issues of jumping and puking from that than deal with all of the glitching from this. I should just probably talk before I end this about the filter. You've got a filter here, you've got a wee hose there to drain out the water, and then you just unscrew this and you'll have 2 pumps in there, a recirculating pump and a drain pump. So you will, and you also have this wee pull down latch thing right there, and what you do is, so you just push this down, and it will unlock a door if you have a power cut. Say for example, the machine turns off and the door's still locked. So it is nice that they've got that on it. But sadly, with all these issues, I would honestly say just avoid this. For it costing £450 on sale, this is normally £500. Just to have all of these issues, it's not worth the money. Definitely not. I cannot recommend this machine to any person. I really can't. It's just a waste of money just to deal with all these issues, which is such a shame, as this was always a brand that I trusted, and now I can't look at it the same, and I'll probably never have one of their machines in my house again, which is such a shame. Well, there's the Drumlight starting to come on now, after like 10-15 minutes. So yeah, I would not have another one of these again. The qualities just massively went down. So it's not great having so many issues in a period of 4 days. Just avoid these machines. As you can see, it's starting to glitch now and not work. It does flicker quite a lot because of that water damage, if that's what it is. So I do not recommend this. I'd give it a solid 2 out of 10. I'm only giving it 2, mainly because of the fact that the programming on the non-synthetic cycles is really good. For example, this cycle does a 15-minute final spin, whereas it never used to on the previous generation, which is really good, as at least the clothes are still well spun in such a short time. But overall, this machine is just awful. Just avoid these and you'll be fine. Thanks for watching and goodbye.